Next up, at UFC London, we have Lonair Kavanagh taking on Felipe dos Santos. Lonair Kavanagh is undefeated in his career. He is coming off a successful UFC debut, keeping on Felipe dos Santos, 8-2 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off that decision loss to Andre Lima, who we just looked absolutely spectacular at UFC Vegas 104. Lonair Kavanagh is a really fast-paced striker. Incredible movement, good speed. I'm going to repeat speed over and over and over again. He is one of the fastest guys in this division. It's insane how quick his hands are. He does have some raw power, so the combination of speed and raw power do really well for him. He doesn't really chase knockouts, so he's got plenty of cardio for a full 15 minutes. Part of that, though, is because he can be low volume. He kind of waits looking for his opportunities. He is a genuine prospect. He's got the composure of a veteran. He's coming off that decision win over a UFC debut where he was low volume, but insanely fast. He literally beat his opponent, Jose, to the punch every single time. Taking on Felipe dos Santos, a shooter box fighter through and through, from the hair to the fight style. He's aggressive. He's dangerous. He's pretty good everywhere. Like most shooter box fighters, he's hittable and he is reckless. He likes to pressure forward. He throws everything that he can. That does leave him wide open for counters and takedowns. He's not very good on the ground, but he does have offensive takedowns. He's got plenty of pressure, but like we saw in that last fight, he will fade. The problem here is it's hard to tell how good Loner actually is or is not, because he hasn't fought the highest level of competition, but he's doing what he's supposed to do against guys at that level. His speed is impressive. You can tell that he likes to pick his shots really well. I don't know what opportunities he will have in this fight, though, to pick his shots. Because if Felipe is just running in all gas, no brakes, Loner's not going to be able to get a read. He's just going to have to be throwing, trying to make something happen. I am going to pick Loner. I do think he's probably the better striker here, and this should be mostly striking. I don't know if I'm going to bet on him. He's a 3-1 favorite, but the reality is the Felipe pressure can screw a lot of things up. Loner's going to be the pick. Jakey boy, A, what do you think is behind this guy's eyes? Because something weird's going on there. And B, who do you think wins this fight?
Whose eyes?
Loner's. Behind Felipe's eyes are like, hey, baby, how old are you? Loner's eyes, what I said in the Quick Picks video is that dude's in the back of the class making a list. That's a list, kid. And be nice to him, and he'll cross your list off like Billy Madison.
Yeah. I don't know who at the UFC matchmaking. I don't know who their matchmakers are. I don't know if it's Sean Shelby. I don't know if it's. I think it's what's his name? The
Mick Maynard.
I think it is Mick for these guys, but for some reason Mick fucking hates Felipe dos Santos. I mean, this guy. I mean, fucking UFC debut. I think it was short notice, or whatever. But Manel Kopp, you know, who's probably about to fight for a title. Even the matchup with Victor Altamirano. I mean, that guy's just a cardio, nonstop, awkward guy to fight. Then he fights Andre Lima, who we just saw. It's just like, Andre Lima is fucking really, really good. And honestly, he made Andre Lima wrestle. But the thing that was surprising in that fight was that was supposed to be Felipe's thing, right? Felipe was supposed to have an edge, and I was a little bit hesitant on Andre because I'm like, Felipe, a shooter box guy we've never really seen, you know, in his debut, he's getting taken down, and he was getting out-grappled in a situation where he probably should have been winning those exchanges. But, I mean, Manel Kopp, Victor Altamirano, Andre Lima, and now Loner Kavanagh. I mean, somebody at the UFC fucking hates Felipe dos Santos because he is a good prospect. He is a good talent. But against a guy like Kavanagh, who's so sound defensively, does going to kind of take his time. And I think his style, because you saw the Contender Series fight, if you put him against a guy that will come forward and give him those opportunities to let his hands go with the speed, with the counters, he can land some really heavy shots. And as tough as Felipe is, I think that shooter box style of just kind of Muay Thai plotting forward, it sets up pretty well against the hand speed of Kavanagh. So I'm not too worried about him. I respect the toughness of Dos Santos and maybe the grappling abilities as well, but Kavanagh seems like he's pretty well put together to be a prospect. I know they've been dropping like flies, so you know I'm not going to be crazy surprised, but I don't think this is going to be the one that drops. I think we get back into the flow of there's some good prospects, and I think Kavanagh is probably one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Loner Kavanagh is good. The speed is incredible. He's just so freaking fast. Dude. His hands
Yeah, those
are nuts.
motherfuckers, what his Contender Series fight, everyone in the stream, because I don't know the fighters when I'm watching the whatever, were pumping up the dude that he was fighting. They're like, oh, he's an MMA lab dude. He's going to fucking, Kavanagh's good, but he hasn't fought anybody. And then he got fucking one of the worst knockouts I've ever seen. So,
Yeah. Yeah. $9,100 for Loner Kavanagh. Listen, Felipe dos Santos is pretty tough. I don't know if Loner's going to get a finish here, especially if Felipe just starts like desperate wrestling, holding against the cage, stuff like that. And Loner picks his shots. He can be low volume. He's not an aggressive guy. He may not match the aggression here.
it's not his debut, dumbasses.
Who's saying it's his debut? Oh, yeah.
Said, oh, no, another UFC debut.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not his debut. I am going to pick Loner here. Obviously, we talked about that. I don't know if I'm going to spend the $9,100 in DraftKings Fantasy, though. I don't know if he's going to finish Felipe, and Loner's not going to wrestle. So if he doesn't finish, then he's not going to be worth that $9,100. He's not going to land enough strikes to cover. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the tools, everything that we offer, we have the most robust platform on this planet. There's nobody offering anything close to what we offer for UFC. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click it's $10. If you hate it, then don't renew. Pretty straightforward. It's $10 freaking dollars, you cheap sons of bitches. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top.
He does kind of look like a guy that would maybe sit in the rain and read a book.
Yeah, dude.
But you said like creepy vibes. I think he's like it feels like more of like
emo. I was doing emo vibes.
Like a loner, but you're like an evil loner. And I'm thinking like a poetic loner guy that it's almost the guy that, you know, like all the 90s teen movies, it's always like the ugly girl that takes off her glasses and it's like all of a sudden I think that he's a guy that you put glasses on him in a movie and you're like, oh, look at this fucking nerd, and all of a sudden he gets contacts and they're like, whoa, all of a sudden he's a nice good looking dude.
I said he's a guy. I said he's a guy that would read a poem in the rain.
You said that?
Yeah, in my quick picks.
But I literally just said that he would read.
I said it a week ago. Did somebody tell you what I said in my quick picks?
No, I literally just came up with that on my own. So that's very simpatico.
That's who he is. Yeah, two different people.
I think
that's
that
who
says more about me and you than him.
Yeah. I mean, let's read a poem tomorrow.
I think after that weekend we had the other. I think we're kind of linked up again. We synced up.
You're like, your wife sent me this video. Jacob took that video. Him and I went to the water park together. It was our little weekend trip.